An ordinary janitor, weak and constantly humiliated by his boss. Until one day, he meets a mysterious beggar. What he doesn't know, that beggar is a legendary kung fu master. The master teaches him his techniques in a strange and unique way. And soon, the bullied janitor becomes the one everyone fears. The Snake Fist clan specializes in the snake style of kung fu. For the past 100 years, they've been locked in a fierce rivalry with the Eagle Claw clan, which practices the Eagle style of fighting. The Eagle clan has made it their mission to wipe out every single member of the Snake clan and erase their fighting style from existence. At the beginning of the movie, one of the last surviving members of the Snake clan is challenged by Shang Quan, a master of the Eagle Claw. The two face off using their respective styles. But it quickly becomes clear that the Eagle Claw is stronger. Shang Quan vows to kill his opponent and destroy the Snake Fist legacy forever. However, it's soon revealed that one Snake Fist master named Pai is still alive. After killing his opponent, Shang Quan begins his hunt for his final target. Meanwhile, Pai is living in poverty as a beggar. He barely earns any money and survives on scraps. One day, while he's sleeping in a hammock made of a single rope, someone bursts into his room and startles him. It turns out the landlord has brought a thug to evict Pai since he hasn't paid rent for a month. They search the room for money, but only find a snake. While they're distracted, Pai quickly grabs his rice bowl and a pair of chopsticks and bolts outside. He's soon surrounded and attacked by a gang. But using just his bowl and chopsticks, Pai easily defends himself. Even though his attackers are armed with knives, Pai's chopsticks prove to be faster and deadlier. One of the thugs accidentally bumps into an Eagle Claw member named Su Chen. When the thug describes what happened, Su Chen realizes they've just encountered a Snake Fist master, but by then, Pai is long gone. After this, we meet the film's protagonist, Fu. He's an orphan who was taken in by a short-tempered, eccentric kung fu teacher named Li. Li makes a living by scamming innocent students, pretending to be a kung fu expert, when, in reality, his skills are mediocre at best. He often beats Fu and forces him to do all the cleaning. Fu desperately wants to learn martial arts, but even though he lives and works in a kung fu school, he's never allowed to train. One morning, while Li is resting and the students are practicing, Fu watches them closely and tries to imitate their moves, forgetting to sweep the floor. When Li notices, he angrily hits Fu with a stick, just to make the poor kid's life even harder. He walks around with white powder under his shoes, which means he'll have to sweep the floor twice later. Li uses Fu as a prop to teach his students a new fighting technique. He orders Fu not to dodge the attacks and beats him up in front of everyone as an example. This isn't the first time Li has used Chien Fu to make himself look like a kung fu master. Fu is often beaten, but he has no other way to earn a living. The only person who shows him any sympathy is the school's cook, who even offers to apply medicine to his wounds somewhere private. At the same time, a wealthy businessman and his overweight son, Lap Ban, arrive to see if the school is good enough for the son's admission. The head teacher brags that his students are the best in town, but Lap Ban isn't convinced. He asks one of his students to break a stack of 3 bricks with a single blow. The student does as told and manages to break them all. But as soon as Lap Ban looks away, the student screams in pain, clutching his hand. Moments later, Lap Band tries to shake his hand and realizes the student was only pretending to be tough. Disappointed, the father and son leave to visit Lee's school instead. After they're gone, the students notice resting outside and, out of frustration, start beating him up. Fu doesn't defend himself, afraid that someone might see him causing trouble. Chien Fu sees what's happening and steps in to protect the old man. When the students attack him, Lee uses tricks to make Fu fight back. He stands behind Fu, pushing and dodging in a way that helps Fu avoid the blows. During the fight, a Russian missionary notices Fu and rushes toward him. In reality, he's a spy working for the Eagle Claw clan, assigned to find and eliminate the last surviving member of the Snake clan. Fu notices him and quickly runs away with Chien Fu before they can be caught. Later, Fu brings the old man to his school and makes tea for him. He also asks him to stay the night since he must be injured. The old man, Pai, is touched by Fu's kindness. Meanwhile, Lap Band and his father meet with Lee, who brags about his training methods. Lap Band isn't convinced and challenges him to prove his skill by breaking 3 stacked bricks. Lee laughs and says he'll show them a real fight instead of a simple brick-breaking act. He calls in Chien Fu and orders him to take a beating from one of his students. An excited Lap Band watches as the fight begins. Fu gets beaten up once again, unable to dodge any of the attacks. He's terrified that by the end of it, he'll be left starving the next day. Ban, impressed by Fu's opponent's skills, decides to enroll in the school. Chien Fu returns, covered in cuts and bruises, embarrassed and humiliated. He rushes back to his room. The cook tells Pei that it's a daily routine for Chien Fu to get beaten up. He's basically used as a display dummy to uphold the school's reputation. To lighten Fu's mood, Pei places a bowl on his head and challenges him to grab it. Fu tries his best. But Pei is so skilled that he doesn't let him touch it even once. The next morning, Chien Fu wakes up to find that Pei is missing. He notices a message written on the wall, vaguely hinting at dodging techniques. Outside, Pei has drawn a series of footprints on the ground for Fu to follow. These are actually the basics of the snake fist technique. Using the message and the footprint pattern, Fu realizes what Pei is trying to teach him and begins practicing. Fu turns out to be a natural. He masters the technique in a short time. Meanwhile, Pei encounters a Russian missionary and secretly follows him to uncover his true intentions, only to realize it's a trap. Soon, Su Chen from the Eagle Claw clan stops him and challenges him to a fight. The missionary and Su Chen team up against Pei, but he manages to outsmart them and escape, though he's left badly injured. At the same time, Lap Band's father visits the school to check on his son's progress. Lee orders Chien Fu to take another beating from Lap Band, using him as a practice dummy once again. But this time, Fu uses Pei's techniques. Chien Fu dodges every attack with ease and even makes Lap Band crash into his own father, sending both of them to the ground. Humiliated, Lap Band and his father leave the school for good. Enraged, Lee beats Fu repeatedly for embarrassing him. Fu runs away and happens to stumble upon the injured Pei. He takes Pei to a shed and tends to his wounds. Elsewhere, Su Chen meets the Eagle Claw clan's higher official, Shang Quan, and tells him everything about his encounter with Pei. Meanwhile, Chien Fu continues caring for Pei until he recovers. Once Pei discovers that Fu was able to learn the snake fist technique just from drawings, he agrees to officially train him in snake-style kung fu. Pei agrees to train Chien Fu, but only under 3 conditions. Fu must never call him master, must never use the training to harm others, and must never interfere when Pei is fighting his own battles. Fu accepts all the conditions and begins his training. He works tirelessly, day and night, and quickly masters the basics. Over the next few weeks, Pei gives him more challenging exercises, and Fu shows incredible growth and determination. One day, while Fu is lazily sweeping the school floor, Li spots him and decides to pick on him. As usual, Li steps into some white powder, but before he can track it across the floor, Fu swiftly slides it out from under his feet. Li keeps trying to trick Fu, but thanks to his training, Fu is now much quicker and effortlessly avoids every move. As they're struggling, a group from a rival school suddenly barges in. The leader of the group happens to be the new 3 provinces Kung Fu champion. The champion is furious because every other school in town sent him gifts to show respect, except Li's school. Outraged, he challenges Li and his assistant instructor to a match. Li is hesitant, but with all his students watching, he can't back down. The champion wastes no time and easily defeats them both, exposing them as frauds who know only the basics of Kung Fu. Chien Fu wants to help, but he remembers his promise to Pei that he'll only use his skills for self-defense, so he stays out of the fight. After Li and his assistant are humiliated, many of the students abandon the school and follow the champion to the rival school instead. Later that day, Fu is cleaning when the school's former head teacher, Master Hang, returns from a trip. He used to lead the school before Li took over. Enraged by the school's defeat, Hang decides to take matters into his own hands. Master Hang storms into the rival school and challenges the state champion to a duel. They engage in an intense fight, both equally skilled. However, in the end, the champion overpowers Hang and continues attacking him mercilessly, even after he's down. Unable to stand by any longer, Fu finally steps in. The champion, annoyed by the interruption, attacks Fu repeatedly, daring him to fight back. Now that Fu can use his training for defense, he doesn't hold back. A fierce battle begins, and everyone is stunned to see that the school janitor is giving the state champion such a hard time. Master Hang is just as shocked. He had no idea Fu could fight. From the doorway, Shang Quan of the Eagle Claw clan watches the battle unfold. He recognizes Fu's technique as the snake fist style and immediately realizes that Fu must know Pei, since only one person from that clan was thought to be alive. After defeating the champion, Chien Fu and Master Hang return to their school, victorious. Chien Fu finds a letter from Pei saying he'll be gone for a few days. Along with the letter, there's a book about snake-style fighting. Worried, Chien Fu rushes to the shed to see Pei, but the old man has already left. Just then, Shang Quan, who has been secretly tailing Chien, approaches and asks if he knows Pei. When Chien confirms it, Shang Quan lies, claiming to be Pei's old friend. He asks Chien to let him know when Pei returns from his trip and insists that he keep his visit a secret, saying he wants to surprise his old buddy. Naively, Chien Fu believes him and agrees to help. When he gets home, he sees his pet cat fighting a snake. Although the snake looks more dangerous at first, it turns out to be weak against the cat's sharp paws. This gives Chien Fu an idea to combine the cat's paw technique with the snake fist technique to make his style even deadlier. Pei returns to town and is immediately confronted by Su Chen. At first, Su Chen pretends to be dead, then suddenly attacks Pei with a knife. He thinks he's stabbed Pei, but Pei had already anticipated the move and dodged in time. They engage in a brutal fight where Pei's skill and experience give him the upper hand, and he ends up killing Su Chen. Afterward, he reunites with Chien Fu, who's thrilled to see him again. They order tea from the cook, unaware that the man secretly poisons it. Just then, Chien Fu remembers Shang Quan and rushes to tell him that Pei has returned. But when they come back looking for him, Pei has already fled. Shang Quan quickly guesses where he's headed and takes off after him, with Chien following close behind. On his way, Chien is stopped by a Russian missionary who tries to kill him. They clash in a fierce fight, but the missionary gains the upper hand thanks to his sword. Chien Fu's clothes get torn, but he still manages to defeat his opponent. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Pai meets Shawan. Tired of running, Pai decides it's time to end the century-long rivalry between their clans once and for all. The fight begins, and at first, both fighters seem evenly matched. However, Shawan soon gains the upper hand and is about to deliver the final blow when Fu suddenly intervenes to save his master. Fu insists on fighting Shawan himself. Pai tries to stop him, knowing Fu isn't fully trained to defeat Shang Quan, but Fu refuses to back down. As the two clash, Fu quickly manages to scratch Xuan's face with his new invention, the cat claw technique. Combining the snake fist and the cat claw, Fu creates a unique and deadly style that swiftly overpowers the eagle claw technique. In the end, Xuan is defeated and the master and student prepare to leave. As they're about to depart, the cook approaches them and suddenly tries to stab Fu. Pai stops him effortlessly and demands to know why. It turns out the cook is also a spy from the Eagle Claw clan. He laughs, revealing that they've already been poisoned through the tea he served earlier. But Fu calmly explains that he switched the cups because the tea was too hot. Realizing his mistake, the cook remembers that he drank the poison tea himself. The poison's effects take hold, and he collapses and dies instantly. In the final scene, Pai praises Chien Fu for inventing such a powerful new technique. And remember, kids, there's a lot we can learn from cats. Oh, and if the tea's too hot, don't drink it. And that's the wild and hilarious story of Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss out on more awesome movie breakdowns like this one. Drop a like, share your favorite moment in the comments, and hey, remember, never underestimate a janitor with kung fu skills.